Hey, Fran fam, welcome to Life and Style with Francyne. I am your host, Francyne Walker. And if you have not been living under a rock, you know that we have experienced a tumultuous last 2 days. At this time, we don't know who our president and vice president are going to be. We're certainly hoping that it will be Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. But in the meantime, we have some leaders, some women leaders doing the dang on thing. You know, I like to think of them as girl bosses. Um, Certainly friends of mine. They they have a blueprint for success. So please join me in welcoming Tammy Turner and Kerry Buffington, founders of Kapstone Employment Services, to the show. Hey guys.
Hello. Hi. Thanks for having us, friend.
Thank you guys for finally being on the show. I remember approaching Kerry at either the brunch or the birthday party. I knew this was a vision of mine, and she said, "Anytime, whatever you need." And so we finally made it happen. I was certainly excited. I was a little nervous. It's like, oh, these are my girls, but still, you know, to you know, because I look up to you guys and I just admire you so. And you know, that are certainly, even though you guys are younger than me, but you know, our teachers don't have an age, so our role models don't have an age. So speaking of role models, we're really going to pick your guys' brains as it relates to how you got started. You know, how did Kapstone Employment Service come to be?
Do you want to start that, Kerry, or do you want me?
Go ahead.
We've been asked this question 1,000 times, and it usually starts with me, but sometimes Kerry will jump in. We started Kapstone in June of 2017. How it really came about is I had been working in the recruitment field for, you know, at that time, probably 16, 17 years. And with 6 years being working in automotive engineering, and I was killing the game. Like I was making all the money. So I was the top producer in the company. But I had a 6-figure income as a result of that. However, I just kept saying to myself, the more I make, the more I'm making for my boss. Right. And I was like, I can do this on my own. You know, I've been in the game long enough that I have enough knowledge, so I believed at that time that I could do this on my own. So while I have 20 years of recruiting experience, I didn't have the HR experience. I didn't have the HR background, the employee relations, and all the other HR functions. And so I knew Kerry did. Kerry and I had known each other. We were neighbors. We both lived. We lived around the corner from each other. We were in all the same social circles. We actually met on the dance floor at the Barristers Ball.
Oh, nice.
I knew her husband from, at that time, her fiance from Facebook. And so we just kind of had some good synergy with each other. So when I thought about the business, I'm like, let me reach out to Kerry. And at that time, Kerry had just had Logan, just had her daughter. And so she was at home. And, you know, I couldn't quite get her to say yes just yet. And I'll let her tell you why. But finally got her to say yes because I showed her a commission check. And it was $18,000 that my boss owed me for that month in commission. And so, and that's just, again, for 1 month. So you have to say to yourself, if he owed me $18,000, how much did he make?
Yeah.
And then I'll let Kerry jump in and tell you why she was apprehensive at first.
Well, as Tammy stated, I had just had a baby and I was able to work from home in that position. So I was comfortable and overall my needs were being met. However, I was not happy with where I was employed at. I didn't like my manager, and I just wasn't happy. But it didn't feel like the right time because I had just I had a newborn, and so I told Tammy it just wasn't the right time for me. As she said, she circled back a few months later and said, "Okay, now what are we doing here?" And I it's good because it had given me that additional time to really think about what was important to me, where I wanted to go, and what my next move was. And so it gave me the opportunity to really think about it seriously leaving my job, seriously taking this leap of faith with a friend. But friends and business are two total different things sometimes.
Sure.
And once she showed me that check, I had the conversation with my husband, and he was behind me. And we just took that leap of faith, and I don't have one single regret. So
I have to commend you guys because you guys are friends, and sometimes there is a challenge when working with friends. How do you navigate that potential pitfall?
So I'll start this one, Tammy. For me, the one first thing that I thought about was I've done other things on my own. I've done other things that are small things that I would, say were entrepreneurial.
Yeah.
I didn't have that confidence in myself to take that leap. And I think, when Tammy had that conversation with me, it was the first sign, like, oh, you know what? Somebody believes in me. And then after that, then my husband was like, you know what? We can do this. You can, so first of all, I just want to say that it's always nice to have somebody to say you can do it when you think maybe you can't, or you never would have if they hadn't, come up with that idea. And so it's really good for us as women, or just people, to push each other and to put ideas in our head that we otherwise wouldn't have done. And so for myself, I'm a very transparent person, and it's hard for me to work with, or probably work for, people that I don't get along with.
Yeah.
Tammy stated, we had always got along, and Tammy has a very strong personality. So I call her my work husband because a lot of her personality reminds me of my husband. But we realize that we are friends. We are also sometimes each other's psychologists. We are also each other's accountability partners, and we are also each other's friends and business partners. So we don't agree all the time, but we know that, both of us always have this business as our first priority. And so, sometimes we can agree to disagree, or sometimes you're going to have to go ahead with what the other person said. It's about flexibility. It's about doing what's right. And it's about having the business at the first and, foremost priority.
So it takes a certain level of synergy and maturity, I'm sure.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Where you recognize you guys as the main goal is the success of the company. So that takes everything else kind of takes a back seat, because we're human. And sometimes it's like, and I can imagine Tammy. I knew Tammy before I knew you, Kerry. It's like Tammy's a go, and Tammy is a pusher. She's a fighter. Hence 18,000 in 1 month.
I agree.
$18,000 commission check in 1 month. That's somebody's salary, unfortunately. But
and what's really nice is that when you can get with someone, or you can have people on your team, that everybody has a different strength.
Yes.
So that I'm constantly learning from her. She's constantly learning from me, and you come in between to make decisions, like you said, that are best for the business and the growth of the company.
And it takes a certain amount. Would you say it takes a certain amount? Because Tammy, a certain amount of, recognizing no man is an island. Tammy knew recruiting in and out. but she knew she didn't have that HR piece. So she
Right.
found someone with that strength. But, you know,
She was smart. She was smart about it from the beginning, Fran.
and she just really just had to give you a chance to let
That's
that
true.
ruminate. But I
That's right.
want to touch upon the fact that you, and I know this story, but anybody else may be watching might not know. You asked your husband at the time, still your husband, Daron, at the time about, you know, for advice on what to do. And he eventually said, go for it. So it's important. I know it was something Tammy said. She had posted, and I was like, oh, that's deep. You know, she said, you either have a supportive partner or no partner.
That's right. That's right.
And that is the gospel.
You know, some people might be like, dun, 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 you know, what makes you say that, Tammy?
Well, because I've been in a situation where I didn't have the support, and I know how detrimental that was to me. And I'm no longer in that situation because the person that wasn't giving support is no longer in my life.
Yeah.
And I have since.
Congratulations.
Thank you. So
I'm engaged, everyone. She's engaged. She's been engaged.
Yes, I just got engaged in March, and so I'm in a relationship with a partner who supports me 2,000%. Not just supports me, but supports our business, supports Kapstone, supports Kerry.
Yeah.
Like we're a family, you know. And Kerry, I want to explode all the myths about Black women not being able to work together, right?
Please.
I do have a strong personality, and I can be a bit too much for some people, you know. But what's so beautiful about our relationship is Kerry understands who I am as an individual, as a woman, as a business partner. She gets all the nuances, and she knows how to handle me depending on who's showing up that day.
Yeah, because everybody really cannot. Even other Black women are taken aback by someone, a driven Black woman, an ambitious Black woman. You know, they have those negative stereotypes, and it's like, wait a minute, they're just driven, you know, and there's nothing wrong with that. So to find that kind of balance and appreciation from Kerry is actually a great thing that a whole lot of people are still trying to find.
You know what, Fran, at the end of the day, everything is based on relationships, right? You have a relationship with your daughter. You have a relationship with your boss. I have a relationship with my husband. I have a relationship with my business partner, and relationships are important. And what people, I think some people get it and some people don't, but life is about relationships, and you have to build on those. None of us are perfect. We all have bad days. We all have problems. We all have sometimes emotional things that we're going through. We're emotional people. But
yeah.
I think my internet went out for a half a second.
Oh, okay. And
we can see Kerry's face, but while she's reconnecting, I'll jump in and just say that one of the beautiful things about our relationship is, if she sees that I'm having a bad day, something happened, it's a rough day, she'll just, hey, come here. I know you need a hug. Bring it in.
Yeah.
And it may be I'm overwhelmed with something I'm dealing with at work. It could be I'm overwhelmed with something I'm dealing with at home. We all have life, right? That can get to us. It could be family member that's sick or whatever the case is. But we know we've been friends long enough and partners long enough to understand each other's nuances and how to fill that gap and make that person feel better.
Sure.
And then with the support system, again, like you said, either you have a supportive partner or you have no partner at all.
Yeah.
And you can't be rowing the boat and then somebody's in the boat with you drilling holes. You know, you're guaranteed to sink. And so Kerry and I both have amazingly supportive partners in our life. And
yeah,
I mean, they're holding us down so that, you know, we can do all the things that we need to do to come in here and make it happen every day.
Yeah.
So can you have it all?
Yes.
I already
be tired. You're gonna be tired, but you can have it all.
Yeah.
I already have it all.
Yeah. So
I mean, I think that, you know, like Tammy said about rowing the boat, what I do realize too is that, you know, any business and this partnership, it's like a marriage. Again, I go back to compare everything, because at the end of the day, nobody gives 50%, or excuse me, no, it can balance, you know.
sure.
Maybe today Tammy's not feeling good, so I'm giving 60%. You know, I'm putting in 60% of the work effort, and she's putting in 40. Well, it's like relationships and marriages. They're not perfect all the time. And sometimes people have to lean on each other and lean on each other's strengths. And so, you know, if you can work together and, you know, I mean, Tammy, she's very driven and she helps drive me. So you got to be around people that support you, that try to, you know, make you better, that push you to be a better person than you thought you could be.
So you really need to leave your ego literally at the door.
You do. And maybe sometimes that's hard for some people, but you know, talk yourself out of it. It's like bad thoughts. Okay. You know what? I'm taking that out of my mind, because we're all human and we all can achieve those things that we put our mind to.
Sure.
Be happy for each other. Let that person serve as an example for you if that's something that you want to be. And ask them how they got there so you can get there too.
Sure. Because you guys actually have 2 offices.
Correct.
One in Detroit and one in Orlando, right?
We do.
Yeah. That's not an easy feat.
Not at all.
So, I mean, it's evident it just speaks to what we're talking about, where you got to put some things to the side and you got to lean on each other, you know, strength here, weakness there. It's kind of like a synergy. I keep saying that word, but a partnership where, you know, it's a relationship that you enjoy and not endure, right?
I agree. I agree.
Especially to get the fruits of the labor that you're looking for. You know, we don't know your 5-year plan, but if I know Tammy, I know it's
already in motion.
It's already in motion, you know. And Kerry, you're already on board. It's like, okay, just make sure that HR is tight. You know what I mean? and the labor laws are cool. But let's talk about how you all have navigated this pandemic.
Really,
what was the pivot for you all?
Well, the pandemic hasn't been as bad for us as it has been for many of our colleagues who are also business owners.
Okay.
We did lose revenue early on when the pandemic first hit back in March, and many of our clients are automotive, and so the plants were shut down. You know, so we lost a lot of revenue because the plants were shut down. Additionally, we had some of our clients have their employees. We had contractor employees on site at certain clients, and those employees had to then start to work from home. Yeah. And then we had to supply them with everything they needed to work from home. Oh. So we had to come out of pocket. You know, we're losing revenue, and then we had to come out of pocket to purchase laptops and all of these things. And the prices on these laptops were just astronomical because everybody's trying to work from home. So things really kind of evened out, I'd say probably in March, Kerry, somewhere around that. I'm sorry, in June, right around that time frame. So we were down for about 3 months. We lost revenue. And then it just picked up tremendously, like almost out of nowhere. We're like, whoa. As of today, as I'm sitting here talking to you right now, we have 47 open jobs.
Wow.
We hired 3 additional recruiters, so things are really good for us right now as we're still in the middle of this pandemic. Kerry, did you have anything you wanted to add to that?
I think also just want to say for those folks out there, because like she said, we did have a period when we were down, and then that's when we said, okay, let's pivot again. Okay, so we started trying to see what monies were out there to help assist us to get us through the pandemic, right?
Yeah.
So I feel bad because they say a lot of us couldn't take advantage of all the grants and stuff, but there were so many grants out there that you could take advantage of. And that's another thing that we need to make sure that our paperwork is right, our taxes, all those kinds of things, because there was a lot of assistance out there for small businesses to get through it. And some of us just didn't know how to take advantage of it.
Yeah, because there were a lot of grants out there, a lot.
And there's still some coming.
And there's still a lot more, out there. Now, you guys are also certified. What certifications do you guys hold?
We are certified as a minority-owned business. We're certified as a woman-owned business, and we're also certified as a woman-owned small business. So currently, we hold 3 certifications. We're in the process of getting certified with the city of Detroit. So because our business is headquartered in Detroit, we hire a lot of Detroit residents, and so we're going through the process of crossing all the T's and dotting the I's so that we can also secure that certification as well.
Would you say that is a tedious process, but a worthy one?
Ooh, the city of Detroit or the other ones?
The city of Detroit, since that's probably the most recent one.
It's really not. The city of Detroit isn't as tedious as it was for us when we were trying to get our certification as a minority-owned business.
Okay.
That was extremely tedious, and we had to prove our ethnicity. And you think that being able to look at my driver's license and see that I'm African American, or Kerry's driver's license and see that she's African American was sufficient, and it was not. We had to get our parents' birth certificate where it said colored on their birth certificate, because after 1970, I guess they stopped putting colored on the birth certificate. So it doesn't say it on mine, and it doesn't say it on Kerry's, but it says it on our parents. So we had to get our parents' birth certificate to be able to prove that we were indeed African American.
Wow.
And that was a job in and of itself.
What would you say to someone that is, because you are well admired in the community. Congratulations on being featured in the Cranes Detroit.
Thank you. Thank you.
Paper. So you're obviously very well regarded in the community. I have been a part of your network, Tammy. That's how I came to know Kerry. So a lot of people, and you're also, because you're an author of the book, how to network. So your network is huge. What would you say to someone who doesn't know you or Kerry, and they see you all, as sisters doing it for themselves, as Aretha Franklin and Annie Lennox would say? What would you say to someone sitting on the fence about starting a business?
Wow. I'll let Kerry answer that, because I definitely have some thoughts about it, but I'll let Kerry answer that.
And you know what? Our thoughts may be some of the same, and some of them may be very different.
Right.
For me, because it was, I was late starting a family. So then, I had to consult with my husband. I had to lean on him for a little while and all those kinds of things. So I think having a foundation of people that can really support you and not only emotionally, but you may need some financial support. So I think that's important for you to really know whatever business you're trying to get into, what are you really getting into? And I also think that you should, there needs to be more resources for us as Black businesses and as small businesses, because the number one problem with us is access to capital. So I just think that you need to make sure you know what all the resources are out there available to you, and just really, really understand what you're getting to for that first 1 to 2 years, because that's when it's probably gonna make or break you during that time.
Yeah.
Everything that Kerry said was spot on, and I would also include in there that look for a mentor, because there were so many mistakes that Kerry and I made. Because we just didn't know any better. I had worked in the staffing industry. Kerry had worked in human resources, but it is completely different when you own the business and every single thing you're accountable for. And if we had some mentors, I think that we could have saved ourselves some heartache, some pain, some bad financial choices in the beginning. Like, there's so many things that we could have avoided had we been mentored by another business. The other thing that I would say is you need to be able to find capital, friends, family, somebody to help support that business for the first 6 months minimum. You need to have some resources, because if you don't, if Kerry and I didn't have resources that we could reach out to, I don't know that we would have made it.
And not to say that, because, being an entrepreneur is tough. It's tough at times, but it's very rewarding too. There's nothing that would match the reward of your freedom, of your mental freedom, of your freedom of finances to a certain extent. But if you can back into it, or maybe you're going to keep that job for a little bit longer, just to make sure that what you're trying to do is in place. There are a lot of ways you can do it.
Sure.
Just a well thought out plan is very important.
Extremely. And Kerry and I both left, Fran. We started the business in June 2017. We got our first job order in May of 2017. We hadn't even had our articles of incorporation yet. And we got a job order, and I was on my way to Egypt for 2 weeks. So Kerry's like, well, Tammy, why don't we just wait till you get back? And I was like, no, I was on the back of a camel with my laptop, sourcing candidates. We're getting this done, And so that first week of June, we got our articles of incorporation. I turned in my resignation. I left my company. The following month, Kerry turned in her resignation. So both of us have been in the business full time from day one.
Wow.
And it's been a struggle. I don't want to sugarcoat anything for you. That first year really was a struggle.
Yeah.
We had X amount in revenue. That second year, we doubled that, actually tripled that revenue. And then our third year, we exceeded that. So every single year, our revenues have increased. Such a blessing. But it hasn't all been, roses and sunshine. It's been some tough moments there, and a couple of days, Kerry and I just was like, we both sitting here crying, like, not like from a standpoint of what did we do, what did we get ourselves into, but just feeling like overwhelmed and saying, okay, we just got to get through this rough patch, and then it's going to be okay. And here we are at what okay looks like.
And that's probably where the friendship comes into play, And one of the things that I can imagine being an entrepreneur, you get to choose who you work with to a degree. You know, when you are in a company where you're working with toxic people or a toxic boss, day in and day out, it can wear
That's right.
heavily on your spirit, on your soul, and your body. You know,
Absolutely.
so that just has to be one of the things. You mentioned Egypt, Tammy. What do you guys do for balance and self-care? You want to go first, Kerry?
Are you near the freezer and the refrigerator?
So I'll let you tackle what we do in the office for self-care, Kerry. But
you know what? We just we have the type of culture here. It's like we work hard, but we play hard. You know. Yeah. So you know, I tell people that come here, listen, you're gonna always get the same person 8 times out of 10 with me. You're gonna get the same person 9 times out of 10 with Tammy, unless we're not taking care of business. You know what I mean? So, but our culture here is very relaxed. We it's hands off. We don't care when you do your work or how you do your work.
Yeah, that micromanage, baby.
Yeah, that's not who we are.
We as entrepreneurs don't have money to throw out of the window. So if it's not a good fit, we have to grab hold of that very quickly and take care of it. So I'm sorry, I was off on another tangent. I'm sorry, but you were asking.
Okay. Oh, that's okay.
I mean, sometimes we'll have a drink at work. You know, sometimes we try to celebrate the good things, the small things, the big things, because life is hard and life is
here.
Yeah. So we go out to lunch. You know, we might go for a walk downtown. It's whatever.
Because it's your company.
Exactly.
It's your company. You know,
now, I tend to do a lot of self-care. Sometimes my partner giving me that side eye, like, sit your butt down. I do travel a lot. Obviously, pre-pandemic, I traveled every chance I got, but I would always take my laptop with me. I was always taking care of business. If I was on a plane, if I was in Egypt, if I was in Greece, Italy, it doesn't matter. Whatever needed to be done for us, for this business, whether I was on vacation, even if I'm on a golf course, I'm going to take care of what needs to be taken care of for Kapstone.
Sure.
Period. And Kerry trusts that that's going to happen. She knows that I'm gonna put our business first. Sure. Now, there are times where, I'm exhausted mentally, emotionally, physically, whatever. I may go home. I may leave work and go home at 12 o'clock. And I'll say, Kerry, I'm about to cut this phone off and I just need a couple hours of sleep. And I literally cut my phone off. Like, I don't care who's trying to get through. And then once I get up, then I'll call her. I'll say, hey, I'm up. What's going on? I'm responding to emails and then doing whatever needs to be done. But I do take self-charging and self-care very seriously. So,
and without guilt,
have that balance.
Yeah, without guilt, it sounds like, where it's like, these are the parameters. You turn your phone off, and you know what I mean. So, I think self-care is integral to anyone who is running a business.
Sometimes we have to check each other, because sometimes we're so much in work mode. We're like, you know what? You're right. Let's take some time. Let's take a break. Let's take a deep breath. You gotta enjoy the ride.
You really do.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And friends, sometimes, again, pre-COVID, we're right down the street. We're on the corner of Congress and Shelby.
Yeah.
We have a brick and mortar location, and we would go, 3 o'clock, we go down to the Caucus Club and have some happy hour appetizers and a cocktail. And we needed that to just kind of, all right, we're on the grind constantly. It's like, okay, let us just take it down for a second. And it gives us an opportunity to just kind of think things through, a strategy, talk about what we want to do next, and just change of scenery for us.
Yeah. We've got Tiffany, Erica, V. They're all on here showing you love, guys. Yeah, I already knew you guys were powerhouses just personally, but I'm just glad that yes, the Rosie the Riveter, right?
That's right.
But it was just good to have you guys on the show, especially after the experience we have all lived through these last couple of days, to hear from two powerful and successful Black women who are making it look easy, but we know it's not easy, but we can still be inspired. What's the next 5 years look like for you guys in closing?
Ooh, you want to tackle that, Kerry?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that question?
Oh, I'm so sorry. What does the next 5 years look like for Kapstone?
Well,
whatever you can share.
No. It's just, kind of when you're with somebody who's constantly got ideas, I have to hold her head down. But
kind of like see the movie.
We plan on having offices. We plan on having offices in key cities, throughout the United States. And we always try to make it a point. We always want to make sure we share information with other folks who are, especially women, who are trying to do some of those same things, because we want to support, their dreams and help them in the path get there, just like somebody showed us some love. Yeah. So we definitely plan on that. You know what, Tammy, you can go ahead and comment on that too.
All I can say, Fran, is Atlanta, look out. Houston, look out. Tennessee, look out. Kapstone's coming. Wow. As Kerry said, our goal is to have a Kapstone office in every major city throughout the U.S. We even have some opportunities for some international staffing. So that's our goal. Our goal is to continue to expand and grow. And one of the things that Kerry and I are committed to, we recently completed the Goldman Sachs 10,000 Small Business Program. And one of the things, the key takeaways from that program that Kerry and I learned is that in order to grow your business, in order to expand your business, you have to spend more time working on it versus working in it. And so we can't be so focused on our day-to-day grind that we're not focused on our growth. Sure. And that's what our goal is we're developing our team. We're trying to get all the key people in place so that we can pull back from the day-to-day grind and focus on what we need to do to grow and expand. And so that's our vision, for the next 5 years. It'll be before 5 years.
I'm sure. I already know.
Yeah, that's the vision.
You guys mentioned that there were 47 positions you have open. And can we go to the website here?
Yes.
www.kapstonees.com?
That is correct.
Okay. So anyone that is looking for work, there are jobs available at Kapstone Employment Services.
Yes, please. And tell your friends.
Yeah. Any idea what kinds of jobs do you can you give us an idea of some of the jobs that are open?
Sure. We have engineering positions open. We have a senior software engineer position open. We have technical lead positions open. We have accounting analysts. We have controls engineers. We have shipping and receiving clerks. We have energy efficiency analysts.
Nice.
Let me look on the we need a lot of high-low drivers, material supervisors, EHS coordinator, production associates, which are really line operators. So it from one end of the spectrum to the next. Senior level positions to more manufacturing positions, and a combination of direct hire, contract to direct, and strictly contract. So a variety of positions and customer service.
And the website is on the screen at the bottom. Anything you want to add in closing before we close the show out?
Well, I just want to thank you, Fran, for having us on, because you are inspiring people that look like us. So we appreciate that so much. And anybody out there, don't let go of your dreams. And if you have already made it, just make sure you reach back and pull somebody with you.
Yes, that's.
I feel like my partner just dropped the mic. Like, I don't know if I would only say, Fran, thank you for being who you are and what you do, and the multitude of ways in which you have supported Kerry and I. We appreciate you more than words can even say. Like, there's not enough words. So thank you so much for everything that you've done to support us in our efforts in being successful.
Yeah.
And I would, only thing I would add is, encourage any and every person out there that's considering entrepreneurship. Plan, prepare, and execute. Pursue your dreams. Don't let anybody talk you out of it. If you go to bed every night thinking about that business that you want to start, you wake up every day thinking about that business you want to start. As you go through your day, it's something burning in you to say, start that business, then you have to go for it. Even if you fail, you have to go for it.
It's something about that momentum. Once you get in the game and get going, I have one final word. Kerry said something. It's like, you all believing in me has done a tremendous, thing for myself, as far as believing in myself, as far as, my capabilities. It's like, oh, well, yeah. So I thank you all for, trusting me. And it's like, wait a minute.
We got to do that more for each other.
We have to. We have to. Yeah. It's almost like, what would you do if it were you? That's how I take anything. It's like, I would want them to make me look as good. It's like, wait a minute, your tag is hanging, your slip is hanging, your hair is out of place. You got, broccoli in your teeth. Yes. That is what we need more of. Yes. And I think we can take the world by storm when we really lock in as sisters, because we can't do this all by ourselves. You guys talked about the necessity of more, networking as far as access to resources, whether it's human capital. Hopefully that doesn't sound bad when I say that, but people, monetary capital, somebody knows somebody that knows somebody, we're 6 degrees of separation from knowing everybody in the world. So that piece you guys talked about, the relationship piece. I'm glad that I finally can, check you guys off the list. It was like, this has been a dream of mine, a vision.
Have us back.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Yes, we will.
Awesome.
Because we need to have more conversations about, just women in general, women in business. We need to see more of it. We need to hear more of it. We need to hear more about the importance of having partners in our lives and being able to know that we can have it all, with balance and with the right person. Because it's like,
that is huge. One thing I remember seeing, Brandon, I don't know the author who wrote this, but I remember seeing something to the effect that when women have, when they're having a baby, we have baby showers for them. When we have a sister or a brother that's opening up a business, why can't we have a business shower for them?
Yeah.
Because you need so many things, and not always monetary either, but there's so much support that you need when you're establishing a new business. And maybe, you can have us back on the show one day and we can talk about that.
I would love to. I really would love to. I love you guys, It's like, I know them, I know them, So yes, I would love to. I appreciate you guys. I want to keep to the time and you guys' time commitment. It is 2:50. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Keep taking the world by storm. I'm rooting for you. You know what I mean?
Thank you.
And doing what I can to make sure you guys shine. So just keep showing us how it's done so we can get it done too at some point when it's time. So thank you guys.
Thank you. Welcome on stage too, but watch
Have
out
a
when
great weekend and have a great day.
Bye-bye.
Have a good day.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for tuning in to Life and Style with Francyne. That was a great conversation. Hopefully you guys were inspired. And of course, as always, if you'd like to be a guest on the show, drop us a line at lifeandstylewithfrancine@gmail.com. You can follow us at Francyne Walker on Instagram, or you can like my Facebook page, Life and Style with Francyne. And it looks like I need to take that off of there. And go to my Facebook page, like and subscribe my Facebook page, and we will see you next time. Have a great day, everybody. Talk to you soon.